Hey friends, did you know that in order to be a successful entrepreneur, your business needs to create opportunities for more sales in more places, repeatable systems that save you time and money, and to gain visibility that creates awareness where your customers are actually buying?
Well, the doors to Multi-Stream Machine are open. Multi-Stream Machine is the only implementation program of its kind that shows you exactly how to get onto multiple revenue generating platforms and teaches you how to grow a sustainable product business with effective systems, more visibility, and more sales. Multi-Stream Machine focuses on action and implementation, not just learning.
This course shows you exactly what to do without the guesswork and without the heavy lifting of figuring it all out on your own. By the end of this program, you will have prepared your business systems to grow across multiple platforms. You will have learned how to pull your customers towards you to buy and engage. You will have created opportunities to sell to your customers where they are. You will have built customer loyalty and purchases through email, social platforms, and in person, and you'll have optimized the platforms you're currently selling on.
Head on over to www.multistreammachine.com and sign up. Let's build your product based business together. Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
In today's episode, we are re-airing one of our favorite episodes. If you're new here, then welcome. We're so excited for you to listen to one of our most popular episodes ever for the first time. And if you're a longtime listener, we still encourage you to tune in and listen. You never know what new lessons and aha moments may stand out to you now that didn't before. All right, let's dive in. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Snyder, with my awesome co-host, Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Hey, Mina.
Hey, Jacqueline.
All right, guys. So today's podcast is really, really fun and exciting because we are going to demystify something for you. How many of you think that you need to be paying for ads, paying for Facebook ads, paying for Google ads in order to successfully market your product? Well, today we're going to talk to you all about how you can sell your products without ads, without Facebook ads, without having to pay for ads.
Right, especially Facebook ads, because I feel like everybody thinks that that's the magic bullet, right? That's the magic thing that they need to learn or they need to do and they can sell their product. But let me tell you guys, Facebook ads are crazy expensive. You can lose a lot of money and you really need to hire an expert that knows what they're doing. And it is only going to get more expensive during the holiday season for product-based businesses. The ad cost is going to go up. Also, election year, ad cost is going to go up. And then take into account that trends of costs go up anyways, like cost of living is the same as cost of ads. It goes up anyway. So imagine having that as a small business. It becomes such a weight that we want to let you guys know that you don't need to even stress out about that because you can grow your product-based business without Facebook ads.
Right. So, and I'm also going to say to those of you that are paying for promoting your posts, if you're doing that, I feel like it's just throwing money away into a slot machine that's never going to pay out. So we're going to try and save you a little bit of money in this episode by talking to you about all the ways that you can organically market your products and still be successful and still sell your products.
Right. So the first one is, I feel like the one that's very obvious, and that is social media. A lot of people, because it's free, believe that social media could help them organically. And I do believe that that is true, that it can help you organically. Does it take a whole lot of work? Is it easier if you do pay for, showing up? Probably in some cases, but like Jacqueline said, when you're boosting or promoting, Instagram ads or Facebook ads, it's not a for sure thing. But if you show up and show up repeatedly, consistently, and engage, there is that result that comes from simply engaging with the right people on social media.
Right. So remember, social media, we're talking about social media here where we're really talking about Facebook, Instagram. Maybe some of you have started using TikTok, but TikTok's not fully converted yet to be able to convert to sales where they can click and buy. But Facebook and Instagram do have the ability to shop on those platforms. So that's kind of where we're gonna land here. So when you're thinking about showing up, and I mean, if you guys have been here a while, you've heard so many episodes about showing up on video, how to create content, that we really want you guys to show up in your stories and your feed. If you have the ability to make videos, IGTVs, if you're able to go live on Facebook, if you have a group, all of these ways are sort of like, it's kind of like multiple dates with somebody, right? So they've found you, that kind of they've discovered you. They're kind of paying attention to you. Maybe they decide to follow you and they start to engage in your content that you're putting up on social media. And then they're going to follow you. They're going to kind of watch. They're going to it sounds like a creepy date kind of a little bit.
It's funny that you said TikTok, because I would have said Twitter and Snapchat in that list as well.
Does Snapchat still exist?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Okay. I don't know. I'm an old lady.
Yeah, I know everybody thinks that Kylie killed it, but it's not totally dead. It's floundering. But I heard somebody say that they describe Twitter as when you shout into an auditorium, and maybe people might hear you, right? But there's just so many people. The same thing I feel like goes with TikTok and Snapchat, because things don't stay for a long time, and there's people are confused on what they're listening to. There's lots of noise everywhere, and right now it's not as clear who to listen to. Whereas like Instagram and Facebook is like you're pulling up a seat to maybe get a chance to talk to somebody, right? Because there's the DM, the stories, the Facebook feed. There's a reason for people to follow you on social media. That's what makes it different than Pinterest, for example. You don't go onto Pinterest to follow someone specifically. You're just searching for a little bit of something or another, how to DIY or whatever. But specifically Instagram and Facebook, you follow somebody for a reason. Even though you're following somebody on TikTok or Twitter for a reason, it's more just short and fleeting, versus on Instagram and Facebook, you follow them because you're like, ooh, that person knows what they're talking about, or ooh, I love that product, or oh, I want to learn more. And there's a continued relationship to it.
Yeah. I think relationship's the key word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So social media is where you're building that relationship with your consumer and with your customer.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
creepy or not creepy?
Creepy or not creepy. But if you guys ever meet somebody, like let's just go back to the olden days when we were maybe like, flirty, in our early 20s, flirty. And I don't know, I'm going to say at a coffee shop and you see a cute person and you're like, hey, well, the deal is not sealed unless you've exchanged your number, right? Like otherwise that person's going to go off into the abyss. You'll never see them again. So what you guys need to do though, is no matter what you're doing when you're doing your organic marketing, is you have to seal the deal. You need, and I say that in the way of like
getting their phone number, which is so funny. Number. You use this analogy because you know how like when you initially see somebody, you have that initial reaction to them, right? Just like when you initially see somebody's Instagram feed, you're like, oh, or you're like, ooh la la, right? Same with when you see somebody in person. What attracts you is initially like the visual appearance. Mm-hmm. But the reason why you stay and maybe try to get the phone number or stay and follow them and engage with them is because you like their content.
Right. Oh, they're so funny. Oh, they're so kind. I really liked how much he tipped that, barista. So
he mentioned he, is having lunch with his mom later. What a great guy.
He loves dogs. I love dogs. Think about it, you guys. That's what Instagram is. They're funny, or, there are product business accounts that have dogs. Like I found this one account the other day no. I found this one account the other day that sells really expensive apparel, but they, on certain days, they have these like it's called Sleeper, I think. And they have these adorable sleeping animals that they'll post every like fourth image, right?
Uh-huh.
So people, those get the most engagement. So people like the content because they're like, yes, we like the pajamas, but these, sleeping chihuahua in a blanket is even better.
Yes. It's
Sleeping
like,
chicks.
Old school tactic of a guy going to a park and being like, can I borrow your dog? I want to pick up on some chicks.
So going back to this podcast, organic marketing, social media, what we want you guys to do though is remember though that you need to get their email address. There has to be a way that you eventually capture them in some way that you can then take the
Ooh,
relationship
I
off
like
of
that.
social media.
Because the
And
email address is the phone number, right?
that's where I was going with this, Nina.
Yeah. Okay. Like the click just happened for me right there.
Thank you. You and everybody else. So that's the thing. So no matter what we talk to you guys about in marketing, you guys, this is just, they will just leave that coffee shop and you will never see them again, like a sad, sad Hallmark movie. Or you get their number, which is their email address, and then you keep going. So that's one thing we want to share with you about organic marketing. You can show
Or
up.
you get their real number, which would be crazy, and you start texting them. Because the text marketing.
Yeah.
Which would be way harder than the email, I feel like. But in both instances, it's a good way to reach them.
Yeah. So just thinking about that again, I know you all usually, so many people that come to us, we get hundreds of emails every week that we ask you what your biggest struggle is. And so many of you are saying, social media, Instagram, content, and we definitely help you out with content. We have a yearofcontent.com, which is where we give you 200 plus prompts for content. But that's the thing, right? The content we're giving you is ways to build the relationship with the customer from the perspective of the product. So how does your product build that relationship with your customer? How are you engaging with them? How are you showing up for them on social media that when they're coming to you, they're like, ooh, she's going to give me a tip on how to use face cream on my face because I'm super dry.
Yeah.
Or she's going to give me a tip on how to use labels to organize my pantry when my kids aren't in school. There could be tips like that. So that's sort of the stuff where it's like you're useful and they're attracted to your brand because you're giving them something.
Yeah, for sure. And it matters to them because nothing matters to them more than how you relate to their lives, right? I mean, nobody's going to follow a brand unless it's relevant and relatable to them and that they understand why it should even matter, right? I don't follow brands because, why does their content matter to me? Because
Right.
I need to be able to know how to use it. I need to know why I love it. I need to know why it kind of speaks to me in a certain way. So really take into account what Jacqueline is saying about speaking from the angle of why the product should matter to them.
Right. And so if you're thinking this for yourself, like, well, I sell jewelry. How does this matter to them? Okay. Well, we follow jewelry accounts. It's great when the jewelry account shows us the jewelry being worn. And so we can imagine ourselves like it's kind of like flipping through the pages of a magazine where you're like, ooh, there's an ad for David Yurman. Oh, I love those earrings. I love that necklace. I love how it's all together. I wish I could buy all of that, or I will buy it one day, or I'm going to go buy it right now. So when you're thinking about jewelry, you're showing them style. What else is something that people do?
Yeah,
Candles.
they even trying it on too. I think that's a big thing. I actually hate trying on clothes and I love it when other people try on clothes for me. So where does it hit on a certain, earrings? How does this, does the collar lay flat? How high does it go up on their waist? So they can kind of vicariously live through what you're doing, right? How does it sparkle? How does the candle smell? So you're getting the person, your customer, to understand your product because you're basically becoming their model.
So like candles, home goods, plates, bottles, cups, things like that. Anything that would go into a home. That's why a lot of us follow accounts that you'll kind of dream with them as well. I want that farmhouse kitchen. I want that marble slab in my kitchen, that bathroom. But really, they're showing you their bottles in the bathroom or their soap or their picture frame on the wall. And then you're dreaming for how you're imagining it into a home that's beautiful, let's say, and how can I then bring that into my home? So those are just some general, ideas in terms of like photographs. Because if you guys are thinking, well, how does that work? But no matter what with social media, and what we tell you all the time is show up consistently. You guys just have to keep showing up. I know it's hard when the growth feels slow, because there is an algorithm that gets in the way of you growing, but you're showing up for the customers that are showing up for you, right? So there is a percentage of people that you're hitting as often as you're showing up, that they're seeing it. And those are the people first that you'll convert.
Yeah. And there's some people that are like, oh my gosh, social media, I can't handle it. I need a detox. I totally get it. We're there too. But that's because you're approaching it as if you are the consumer, right? You need to be showing up as a brand that this is a part of your business strategy, organic marketing and growth. Not, oh, I'm on there to peruse as well as live my social life. That's not really how to approach it, because it's a marketing strategy. It's not fun all the time, but it should be fun, but it should also be authentic to your brand, right? You don't need to post something that's irrelevant like your lunch when it doesn't really matter.
I love that. And so same thing. If you feel like you need a detox, then what you guys need to be doing on social media is going and finding your customers. So you're going to post, you're going to search hashtags that are relevant, you're going to engage on other people's posts that are relevant to yours. You're going to start placing your product name, little labels on other people's posts. And you're like, oh, that's such a great organized kitchen. Love it. So she's going to see little labels, make the comment, and she might click on it and start to pay attention, or people in the comments might see it. So if you ever feel like that, exactly what Mina's saying, you're not the consumer of information on this. You're on there to market your business.
Right. Okay. So the next way that we want to kind of plant the seed for you guys of growing your product business without Facebook ads or ads would be getting onto other people's platforms. And you've heard us talk about this, but we want to talk about it from the angle of organic growth, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's two types of other people's platforms we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about other people's platforms in terms of places in which you can sell, and other people's platforms in terms of like publicity in a way.
Yeah.
So which one should we start with?
Let's start with the publicity, because I think that people misinterpret that word publicity because they think it's like showing up in a magazine. And yes, it is, because there's that PR, the public relations of it. But it's really about like the online version of that would be traffic, right? And overall, the business version of that is brand awareness, letting customers know that you exist. So what are some ways, Jacqueline, that are publicity that would be organic for growing your business?
Okay. Well, we've been doing this with our female founder episodes, but you can get onto podcasts. You're a podcast listener. So are there certain podcasts that can interview you, and that's awareness, right? You're on a product business that's on our platform. They're on someone else's platform and they're getting their product known about others. So podcasts, you can reach out to local places and ask them to do an article, right? Local newspapers, local news stations, they're always looking for something. And it could be, this local business is doing X. I think that's also when you think about other people's platforms in terms of publicity, a little bit of that is also when you think about affiliates or influencers, right? That's all kind of, it's organic. You might be paying when it's like influencers, you're paying in terms of gifting them something, or if you pay them, but it's not Facebook ads. And also affiliates, they might be getting a cut, but you're in front of their customers. So, or their audience. So think about all the different ways that you can be in front of somebody else's audience from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily I know it gets a little bit confusing like when we talk about podcasts, because our podcast, we spotlight businesses, right? You don't necessarily have to go on and talk about your business. For example, I wouldn't go on to a new mom breastfeeding podcast and talk about, which there are those podcasts, and talk about my business little labels. I could go on there and talk about, oh, I've seen a lot of customers struggle with storing their breast milk and they use our labels, or they, it could be like, for instance, nursing tips, So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go and talk and sell your products. It's literally just offering useful information, content, and in a way that would matter to your customer again. So if you're going on to a podcast, why would they listen to that episode? They're probably not going to go on there so you can peddle your goods, right? It has to be relevant and informational. And when I say, this is what we're seeing with our customers, it means that you're offering like quote unquote like case studies, right? Here's what this mom experienced, here's what she did, and this is something that I think that we all could have a helpful tip for, right? So it just makes it relevant, and not so much you're not going on there like, hey, here's a sale and blah blah blah, and here's this product and that product.
Yeah, it's not an infomercial.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's just thinking about that. So if you think about other people's platforms in the way of, from a publicity standpoint, is there someone who can write an article about you? Is there something local that you can get in front of? Is there a Facebook group that is, the local moms of, New Jersey, that somebody, someone's interested in what you do? Are there mom groups that you could be a part of? Are there entrepreneurial groups that you're a part of? Where are you in the world, and how can you sort of, again, become, like, let other people know that you have a business and this is what you sell? Hey friends, did you know that in order to be a successful entrepreneur, your business needs to create opportunities for more sales in more places, repeatable systems that save you time and money, and to gain visibility that creates awareness where your customers are actually buying?
Well, the doors to Multi-Stream Machine are open. Multi-Stream Machine is the only implementation program of its kind that shows you exactly how to get onto multiple revenue generating platforms and teaches you how to grow a sustainable product business with effective systems, more visibility, and more sales. Multi-Stream Machine focuses on action and implementation, not just learning.
This course shows you exactly what to do without the guesswork and without the heavy lifting of figuring it all out on your own. By the end of this program, you will have prepared your business systems to grow across multiple platforms. You will have learned how to pull your customers towards you to buy and engage. You will have created opportunities to sell to your customers where they are. You will have built customer loyalty and purchases through email, social platforms, and in person, and you'll have optimized the platforms you're currently selling on.
Head on over to www.multistreammachine.com and sign up. Let's build your product-based business together.
Then there's the other people's platforms when it comes to sales channels, sales platforms. So when we talk about that a lot, we teach about that in Multi-Stream Machine because we fully believe, yes, you can have your own website or you can have one platform and you can try and sell and get, customers. But you can't reach every customer in the world. And so by using other sales channels, other sales platforms, then you're actually acquiring customers from their own pool of customers.
Right.
So, Mina, what are some platforms, other people's platforms they could sell on for organic marketing?
For example, like Amazon, right? They have their own set of customers that you might never ever be able to reach because there's Amazon customers that only shop on Amazon and their information is already in there, but they don't discover you unless you're on the platform. Like another thing would be subscription boxes. So subscription boxes have their own list of people, and oftentimes people will contribute their product to that subscription box, but maybe I think of it as like how people not used to, they still do. They pay for an insert in a bag at a trade show, right? So there's different ways for you to get in front of different eyes. And that's the same thing with subscription boxes. You pay for, let's say, the insert that's in the subscription boxes, or they pay for the product and you're able to put that in there organically as well. So it's like potentially you could be selling something, potentially you're having to pay, but really, hopefully it evens out to be part of your marketing budget for somebody's eyes to be on your product that had never known that you existed.
Yeah, I discovered little labels years before I ever met Mina because I got a kid subscription box that her product was in.
Mhm.
So if you think about that, FabFitFun, for example, nothing but products that we're constantly discovering.
Right. And they're not making profit by putting their products into the FabFitFun either. They're not like, hey, they purchased from me and I made all this money. The idea is the marketing, right?
Right. Because now all of a sudden we've discovered a whole new face cream or a whole new light therapy, or, a brand was reinforced by giving us a certain product in there that maybe we all know. And that then again, it's marketing, it reinforces the brand. So that's not paying for ads. Yes, you're paying in product, but you guys are product businesses. And so product is something you're going to often pay in for organic marketing. And it's interesting you brought up the gift bags at trade shows because my experience with that, I used to work for a celebrity and we would always be pitched to put things into Emmys gift bags, People magazine gift bags, things like that. And she actually won an Emmy and she got a Harley Davidson motorcycle
Oh my gosh.
as her gift bag at the Emmys. That was like one of the things she got. They still have to pay taxes on all of these things, but
Uh-huh.
Harley Davidson gave away motorcycles to
That's
all of the Emmy winners,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, that is craziness. But Harley Davidson, that was probably so aligned with their brand, right? Because it really is, they're not like, oh, here's a discount motorcycle. They have their signature sound, which is trademarked. It is where they want you to look at a celebrity. And that was a time of a celebrity too, right? They want you to look
Mhm.
at the celebrity and be like, ooh, I want that Harley Davidson so badly because that's living the celebrity life, for
Yeah, I think that
example.
was like the time where I'd always see, you guys are going to laugh at me. I'd be driving in traffic in LA and I'd see like a guy on a motorcycle with a helmet and I'd be like, is that Brad Pitt? Because that was like during the time where he was always out on his motorcycle. So any guy on a motorcycle, like I wonder if that's Brad Pitt. But yeah, so that's the thing for you guys to think about, right? They're giving away this like product very specifically targeted. But that's a little bit different than when we went to the sales platforms. So other places in which when we talk about marketing, right? Sometimes we do have students that come to us and say, like, I was offered to be in a subscription box. Do I do 1,000 pieces in there for cost? I'm like, yes, because now you're in front of 1,000 more customers. The same
Yeah.
thing goes with flash deal websites. So Jane.com, Zulily, you're giving a discount, right? You're still moving product, you're still making money. There's a discount, but part of it again is that you're acquiring new customers to understand or know your brand.
Yeah, and acquiring the customers takes money usually, and sometimes it comes in the exchange of how that partnership will work. So even if they're buying only at cost, right, not even wholesale, some people are like, "Ooh, I don't know if I should do it because I'm making no money." But you are making money because you're actually getting at cost marketing, which is amazing. And there's so many brands, even in FabFitFun, that I would never even know existed, like the Quay sunglasses that they
Oh
have
yeah.
repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Spongel they have in there repeatedly. They have that one brand OAUA. I can't remember. That's like the face one.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's ones that I see over and over. I want to bring that up just because to show you the power of consistent touch points and brand awareness to the same customers. So those products are actually showing up repeatedly in FabFitFun, for example. And so I've gotten accustomed to seeing them in there. And now I even know their names, you know? So,
So like if you were in Sephora or anywhere
mhm,
and you saw it, you'd actually be familiar with the brand and
brand
feel
recognition.
right? You would have built that relationship with them already. But back to that. So here's another platform that you guys might not think of when you're thinking about other people's platforms. Wholesale. Wholesale is other people's platforms, right?
Mhm.
So when you, for example, I've worked with some brands that I helped, launch and create, and they had their own website, fine and dandy, but we always talk about like a star in the universe, right? So how do people know that this activewear brand exists and is um, you can buy it here at this website? Well, if you have followers, they'll know you from social media. So that's one way to convert them. But the way that really set them up to like skyrocket was they got on revolve.com, which is a really high end contemporary online retailer. And and then from there they got into other bigger retailers. Well, all of a sudden, revolve.com sends emails daily to their customers, promoting different products, daily saying like, come back and buy this. They'll put things up on their website. So now they've been verified basically and in front of customers from a wholesale account. Same thing
Mhm.
if you think about your local, I was telling Mina earlier, like a kitchen store. I feel like I discover a lot in kitchen stores.
Yeah. I mean, our octopuses, do you remember the ones that we bought at Hotel Irvine?
Mm-hmm.
It was a particular brand. We have this affinity towards
It was the
octopuses.
jelly,
Yeah. And Jacqueline was like,
expensive.
yeah,
Yeah.
very expensive stuffed animals, but we got them. Oh my God, they're luxurious because they're
Yeah.
just so soft and they're well made. And we got to see them in person, which made us, well, for Jacqueline, it was brand recognition because she already knew the brand. She's like, oh, this is so cool.
Do you know how I
And
knew the brand?
mm-mm.
Can I name drop?
Sure.
When Oliver was younger, because James worked with Adina Menzel, so she got Oliver a stuffed animal that was that brand. So I knew it. I was like, "Ooh, this must be really nice." And then obviously it was because there's
It
stuffed
was.
animals that are sold at
Well, we
Nordstrom's.
bought them and they were $25 a piece for a stuffed octopus. That was for a little kid. I mean, but they represent the product boss. So
Right.
we got them. They're beautiful. I still love mine. But for her, it was brand recognition. So it was that, um,
Someone had gifted it to me, and I was like, and I knew that it was a nice gift.
yeah, which is pretty much like referral marketing, right? Which we'll
Right.
get into. And then for me, it was like brand awareness because I'm like, ooh, these are so cute. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like that wholesaler, which was at that time was Hotel Irvine, which is where we saw it. They're a reseller, and we discovered those octopuses because we were right there in person. That's foot traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with Revolve, it's online traffic that they're seeing that as well as like Zulily, because that's a wholesale partnership as well.
But it's in front of other people's customers, right? So that's why when we talk about like multiple streams of revenue for your business, it's because if just by getting onto other sales platforms, you're gaining their customers. They're bringing them in the virtual door or the real door. They're walking them in and they're going around and they already know, like, trust this, store, for
Mhm.
example, and then they're excited to discover what's there. So that's organic as well. It's organic marketing is definitely like the discoverability, like the customer is discovering you organically.
Right. And I want to mention before we had talked about like Amazon, right? Because there's like Amazon, Etsy, those are places people can discover you. And you're really only paying they call it a referral fee, right? The 15% for Amazon, the 5% for Etsy, only when you're making sales.
Mhm.
There is a seller account where you're only paying when you're making sales for Amazon. Otherwise, there's the professional account that you're paying $39.99 a month. So you could just literally be on all these platforms ready to sell, but you're only paying the fees on these when you're making actual sales. That's why
When
we're
it converts.
categorizing them in here.
Yeah. I mean, I was just on Etsy this morning and I have like three things on my like watch list. I've just discovered three new product businesses based on something I was searching for, right? So it aligned, which is gonna be the
Is
next
it
thing
because
that
your
we
sister's baby shower?
yeah,
I knew it. I
that's
saw.
when you end up on.
Yeah, so you can tell that Jack and I get targeted the same ads because I just discovered a baby brand on a pop up Etsy thing, and it was for balancing stones that are made out of wood. I thought they were so cool, and I was like, I'm going to tell Jacqueline about this.
Mhm.
So that just goes to show you discoverability, right? Organic discoverability of, oh, here's what she was looking at, and then showed me, and then a different thing, and then I'm going to go back and show her this thing.
Which is referral. And
Yeah.
then one more thing in terms of other people's platforms, which we didn't fully talk about, and we're going to kind of get into this for yourselves in the next one. But blogs also are another way that, again, like if you work with an influencer and they write a blog, right? That's something that, again, you're in front of their reader. So I just wanted to throw that one in. So number
Mhm.
three, which is really what we're going to talk about blogs, is SEO. So SEO for organic marketing.
Right. I would say more so it's search engines because
Oh, sorry.
SEO
Yes, I messed
is
that one up.
search engines is search engine optimization. So
Right.
in order to get showing up on these search engines, you need to optimize with your SEO. But search engines is the other way that you could be discovered via traffic organically through people just, living their lives. And they're just searching for how to do this or what is this? They're looking informationally for something.
hmm So we talked about Pinterest earlier, but Pinterest is a search engine. People go on there to search for something, right? Virtual baby shower. How to throw a virtual baby shower.
Clearly, somebody's planning a baby shower for their sister, not for herself.
Yeah. And then YouTube is another place, right? It's a search engine. So people are going on there to discover something. How to deal with chronic acne or how to dress for a curvy body type. How to dye your own hair when you're in quarantine.
How to cut curtain bangs. I just Googled that. How to, and then I cannot find a pair of texturizing shears to save my life, by the way. That's a product that I wanted to buy from the video and could not find, for example.
Right, because there's certain products that are sold out right now. There's definitely a supply and demand issue happening, which we've talked about too, where you small businesses are going to be the ones that meet those needs, which means you need to be searchable, right? Like if you are a product business listening to this right now and you sell these scissors that Mina needs, she was searching for you and she can't find you. So if that's something that you have, then by being a part of being searchable, Etsy isn't searchable in that way, right? Like if you type it in, the Etsy shop's not going to show up in Google. You'd have to specifically go to Etsy to search for something.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that when you're searching in Google, for example, and you've optimized Etsy, your Etsy could be one of those front page links, for example. Same with Amazon, right? Potentially, like if you search in texturizing shears for thick hair, let's say, then potentially your listing could pop up. That's the whole search engine organic searching, for example.
So another way, so that again goes back to Google, like making sure that you're using the right kind of keywords and stuff, but blogs. So a blog, and you guys have heard us talk about this, and we teach about this, I think, in Multi-Stream Machine.
Yeah, in the SEO section.
I'm just trying to think, I'm trying to remember whether we've talked about it on the podcast, but for blogs, for example, we're not telling you guys when we talk about blogs to become bloggers. We have very successful product-based businesses that do blogs that are useful to people. Like they sell yarn and they've got helpful blogs about knitting, for example, that really helps
wedding
with their
accessories. They do wedding blog.
Yeah. That helps with being found and discoverable. But another way to do blogs is for, again, going back to keywords, that if they're searching for certain things specifically, that blog is going to exist and it's going to bring people in. I like to call it like a sort of like a side door. So maybe they're not looking up texturizing shears to purchase yet, but they're looking up how to cut bangs. And that blog is about how to cut bangs. And here's a link to purchase the scissors I sell you.
A funny side tangent here. My sister was saying that anybody who's cutting their bangs right now is going through something.
It's true when you cut those bangs.
Because anytime a girl is like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with myself. I know, I'll cut some bangs.
Bangs, or they do a short haircut.
Right. It's because you can control your hair and how it makes you feel,
It's a big change. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big change.
All right. Well, you and I are going to have to talk after this of why you feel like you need to cut bangs.
I cut curtain bangs. They're really long. My hair, I can't cut my full hair, so I need it to look not so flat because my hair is very flat. And so the bangs, which are curtain bangs, they're different than the ones above your eyes. This is just on the side of my face. They give my hair a visual volume that is an illusion.
Looking for illusions.
Yeah. Right.
It's because you're not getting your hair cut because we're in the middle of quarantine.
Right. Yes. I'm not getting my haircut. That's right.
Right. So again, thinking about search engines and discoverability, you guys are thinking about how, if someone were to search and look for you, would you show up? Would you be that answer to their call? Right? They're shouting out and being like, I need scissors. And you're like, here are your scissors. I will deliver them to you.
Right.
So that's just a way to think about that. And that's organic. And that's showing up for your customers and thinking about, well, what would they search and how can I meet their needs there?
Right. And all of these things that we mentioned to you today are ways that you can grow your product business organically and without having to kind of play the Russian roulette of Facebook ads, for example. There's some people that do well on Facebook ads. We're not saying that at all. But there's a lot of small businesses that don't know how to do it and think that that's what they need to eventually do when that is not the case.
And if you have the money, the budget, and you can hire a team or a company that understands Facebook ads for e-commerce, and they tell you that yes, if we run ads, it's going to cost you this much to run ads, but you will acquire new customers and you will make X amount of profit, and everyone knows what they're doing, great. Otherwise, you're going to be giving Facebook a lot of money for no return. The idea here is that I don't. This isn't a Facebook ads thing, but it costs money to acquire customers, right? It's
Mhm.
and there's a cost per purchase. So depending on what that is and how great your ads team is, then it like let's say it could be
Yeah.
$25 to get a customer.
Right. Let's say it costs you $25 because you're having to pay for the ads team to run it, plus probably a 15% cut of whatever revenue you're making from the conversion of it. Then you're having to pay for the actual budget of running those ads. That's the Facebook money, right? So if you don't even have the team doing it for you, you still have to pay for the budget. And so you're acquiring those people, and it literally is a losing money situation. The way that you're supposed to be making your money is through customer lifetime value. And that's the back end of all of this, what they're buying from you later. You're lucky to come out even on customer acquisition, for example. But if you get them to buy from you repeatedly, that's the amazing thing because you guys, leads are very, very expensive. If you can organically get leads, and I use the word leads as air quotes, but those are just essentially customers that potentially could buy from you, you know? And so if you're getting their email, they could potentially buy from you eventually. And if they're qualified, meaning they're coming in from somebody who subscribes to a kids box and you are a kids brand, that's a qualified lead right there. You know that they need your products, right? Instead of, targeting people on Facebook and hoping that you show up enough for them where they're like, ooh, this is interesting. I'm going to click on this, put in my email, make the initial purchase, which evens it out, and then buy from you again later on.
Mm-hmm. Because it costs you money to get them. Let's call it $25. And what's your average cart checkout, right? What if
Right.
they buy something for $15? Now you've lost $10 and you're not making the money back for your product that you sold.
Yeah, every single Facebook agency, Facebook expert that we've talked to says that you need to have $50 on the back end. That's playing it safe. Like if you have $50 and it costs you $25 to $50 to acquire that customer, then that's good because, it is like, it's so variable going up and down. Most products for small business don't start at $50. That's a very expensive product to the general consumer. So me selling labels for $10, it's not worth it to me unless I really want to think of it as my marketing budget and be like, ooh, I'm losing $10 every single time. This is how big businesses do it. But I have such volume of people coming in that it makes it worth it because, eventually they're going to buy from me. I have everything on the back end squared away. For me, that doesn't work because I can't afford to do that as a small business. I can't afford to be like, ooh, this is a big campaign that has all these other elements: television, radio, billboards, celebrities, influencers, email, social media, all the things. And that's how they make their money back because it's a full brand strategy.
Right. So that's basically why we always lean into talking to you about organic marketing. So these are the ways in which that you can acquire, you can get in front of new customers. They can discover you and acquire you. And like we'll say always though, you need an email list so that you can continue to market to them after. So once they bite, right? Like they've
Mhm.
discovered you and they're like, ooh, I like this. And they take the relationship a little bit further, then you need that email address so that you can keep the relationship going and you can continue to market to them after. Like you've acquired that customer without typically the cost that we're talking about from a Facebook ad. And then the money you make ends up paying for the product plus profit. And
Yeah.
that's what we want you guys to do.
Yeah, like literally write this down, you guys, as Jacqueline's saying it to you, is that it's all in that email. So if you have 100 people on your email list, celebrate, you guys. That's way more important than the 100 followers on Instagram. So it's really, the money is in getting that email. She's the exchange, the thing that needs to happen, that pickup phone number that you need to get is nowadays their email if they're your customer.
Absolutely. And then the fortune is in that follow up.
Yes.
So thank you for being a part of this with us today. And we cannot wait to see how you guys continue to grow your business.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.